Okay, so we're going to look at another example in here, again, using the half angle concept. We are supposed to find sine, cosine, and tangent of the half angle alpha, and I am going to work number 56 here. So I'm only going to do one of these. I'm going to find the sine of alpha over 2, given tangent is listed right here. So if I know that the tangent of alpha over 2 is equal to 8/15, I know that I need to use my definition of trig functions to define x, y, and r. So in this case, x is equal to 15, y is equal to 8, and r, which is the square root of x squared plus y squared, ends up being 17. Oops, sorry. Ends up being 17. So that's equal to 17. Now, what quadrant is this falling into? Let's talk about that for just a second. Alpha is defined as being in quadrant 3. So in other words, alpha is between 180 and 270 degrees. But the question is specifically asking me for alpha over 2. So if I go in and I redefine what I'm talking about here, or these constraints, in other words, if I divide everything in this constraint or restriction by 2, then I would find out that alpha over 2 is actually falling between 90 and 180. So the angle alpha is in the third quadrant, but when I divide that angle alpha by 2, we are in quadrant 2. Okay, so that's what this value told me right here. So in other words, I'm in quadrant 2 if I'm talking about the angle alpha over 2. Now, we want to, I'm answering part A here, which says I want to know what the sine of alpha over 2 is. The identity for sine says I have 1 minus the cosine of alpha, all divided by 2. I'm going to take the square root of it, and this is what I am at right here. I also know since I'm in quadrant 2, the sign of whatever I find here has to be positive. So just working out this problem here, I have 1 minus. Now the cosine of alpha has to be, cosine is defined as x over r, so I would have 15 over 17, all divided by 2 under the square root symbol. So again, moving back to my calculator, I'm going to put this part under the radical sign into my calculator. And I missed a sign here. Since I am in quadrant 2, cosine needs to be negative, so I almost missed that. Now, in my calculator, I'm going to take 1 minus a negative 15/17 divided by 2, and when I get that back, that answer back, I get 16/17. And simplifying this, I end up with the numerator, which would be 4, because the square root of 16 is 4. The denominator is the square root of 17. So this falls into 4 square roots of 17 over 17. Okay, so the key to this couple of concepts is they gave me what alpha was, and so I had a restraint or a restriction, I suppose, on where my angle was falling. And when I find out where the angle alpha over 2 is, I go in and divide my restraint by 2 to get the position in where the half angle is. So, hope this helps.